Hi everyone, welcome to Life Joyfully Done. I'm Jen, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I made this very affordable DIY rotating LED lamp. Are you ready to create a personalized rotating lamp with interchangeable designs for every season? Well, let's go! Once you have Cricut open, go ahead and create a new canvas, and you can do that from the home menu, or if you already have a project open, you can just click this new button up here in the left hand corner and it will create a new canvas for you. You're going to want to go ahead and name it so you can save the project. I went ahead and named mine DIY Motion Lampshade. We're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so it's been successfully saved. As you can see, I've already created a blank template of the lampshade, and I have also in the description put a link to that file in case you would like to skip this step and just get to designing the actual shade. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you how to make this blank lampshade very quickly. So the first step is gonna be grabbing a square from over here on the left, and you're going to want to unlock the shape so that you can input the dimensions that you want to use. What I ended up using after measuring out my peanut butter jar, the height is going to be 5 inches, and then we are going to make the width just 11.375, and you can see that matches up to this here that we started out with. Alright, to make the tab, we're going to go ahead and do similar to what we just did and grab another square, and we're going to unlock the shape and just input the dimensions up here once again. So we're going to do a height of 0.2, and then we're going to make the width 0.4, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to I kind of guesstimated, I just made sure that they were even, because when you make the slits that go on the other side, you want to make sure they align. So I'll show you how to do that as well. I just kind of overlapped it with the larger rectangle, and we're going to just hit the duplicate button over here and grab that rectangle and just bring it down, and you can just use the grid here to kind of see how far down you need it to be so that they kind of match up. So we're gonna go 2 up, and we'll just double check that. So yep, looks about right. And then we will drag and highlight these 2 rectangles and hit align up here, and we're gonna just align them via the center so that they are even, and then we can go ahead and group those so that if we move one, the other one moves with it. And then we're going to grab a circle and basically do the same thing as we did for these smaller rectangles, but we don't need to unlock these because we're going to keep it a circle. And for the circle, we just need it to match the rectangle as far as the height. So we're going to make this 0.4. Whoops. I mean 0.2. Alright. And then we're going to duplicate this, but we're going to drag it over here first. And then we can hit duplicate. And And then bring this one down over here as well. And this you're gonna have to do in 2 steps. We're gonna align. So we might have to ungroup these because I didn't think about the fact that we need to align the circle to each individual tab. So let's ungroup those. We're gonna go ahead and align these 2 in the center. And looks like I did a pretty good job of doing that. This one here I think is gonna need a little help. And we'll align that one. Whoa, there it is. And just kind of eyeball it, make sure that these are aligned. To make doubly sure, you can highlight both of the circles, and you can do that by hitting the first circle and then coming over here to the right and holding down the control button and then clicking the other circle. And then you can just hit align once again and center. And so they were a little off and now they are not. And then you can group these, and I'm thinking we're gonna have to move them over a little because you can see a little space, so it's not gonna create this clean tab. So now just click on the circles and slowly move them over because you don't want to move them too far inward because you do want a nice tab to then place inside these slits on the right hand side of your shade. Let's check that. That looks pretty good, but let's just make sure that they are still aligned with the rectangle of the tab. So we'll ungroup these. I know I said this was going to be quick, but you just really want to make sure that you have this down so that when you put the whole project together, it goes together seamlessly and you don't have an issue. So we're just going to make sure that this is good. All right, looks good. And now I'm going to group all of these together just to move them in slightly because it's protruding a little more than I would like. And I think that will be good. All right, now before you weld all of these items together, we're gonna need to create the slits on the right-hand side of your shade. So again, grab a square and we're gonna create the dimensions. It's gonna be slightly larger than the tab, so we'll unlock the square, and the height for this is going to be 0.3. So, whoop, that's not height, this is height. 0.3. And then the width is just going to be 0.009. All right, so now we have our slit. We're going to go ahead and lock that so we don't accidentally change the dimensions. And then just drag it over here to the right and duplicate it. Place it up there. And then to make sure that these are going to line up the tab with the slit, we're going to have to ungroup these once again. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. And then we're going to grab these two and group them. And then we are going to find which one. Okay, so that's the top slit. So we're going to grab that one as well as the group. And we're going to align them in the center. All right, so now they are aligned, and we're gonna do the same thing on the bottom. Group these, and then grab the lower slit here, and align that. Alrighty. So let's see, I think that moved this one down a bit, so we're gonna go ahead and move them back up to where they were. That seems about right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab both of the slits, and you can do that by clicking on them on the right hand side menu here. And we're going to weld them together because we're gonna have to slice them from this larger rectangle. But before we do that, let's go ahead and weld all of these items together. So you can just drag a box that highlights them all, and down on the right hand side here, just click weld. Now that's going to put that over top of the slits, but we can fix that pretty easily just by dragging the slits on the menu here on the right above that rectangle. Okay, so now they're on the top, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but it just helps me to know that they are still in the right spot, visual for me, I guess. And then you're just gonna highlight those items, and now you can click slice down here on the right hand side. And there you have it. You can go ahead and hide the slits now, and you just have your completed blank lampshade. Now the fun part begins. You can go ahead and design what you want your lampshade to look like. So let's go ahead and look in the images for something to put on this lampshade. I have gone ahead and filtered my images with the ones that are free and the ones that I have purchased. So you can go ahead and narrow down, instead of having to scroll through all of this, narrow down what you're looking for. And for this lampshade, I'm creating something for the Christmas holiday. So I'm gonna just go ahead and type Christmas up in this search box and see what comes up. All right, so I'm gonna scroll through all the images before I start picking items, because sometimes certain images just don't go well together. Like these designs are very similar as far as the width on the lines, but I wanna see what else I have here. Okay. Oh wow, okay, so I really like this image here. So I'm gonna click this and then see if, I think these doves might go well with that. Let's see if there's anything else I could use. All right, let's go ahead and add those to our canvas. All right, and then we'll separate them out so we can see them a little bit better here. Yeah, I think the doves are gonna look really cute with that. And all you basically do is start working with your images and seeing what you like for your lampshade. It's all personal preference. And so that's what I'm gonna start doing here, is just kind of figuring out how I want these to fit together. You're gonna wanna make sure that your image stays within the middle between the slits. This will just make it easier to see once you have your whole project put together. So I like to just bring it near the slits, and then we'll just drag it to make it as big as possible, because this will give you the best chance of the heat transfer vinyl staying on the plastic sheet. Sometimes with smaller designs, they start to peel up. It might take a little finagling before you get your design exactly how you want it, but I like that, and I think it's gonna look really nice. So now you're gonna come over to the right hand side of this menu and start clicking all of the items that you just added to your lampshade. And we're gonna end up welding these together so that we can then slice it into the lampshade itself. And just make sure you get every single item that you have added to your lampshade. So I'm gonna scroll through and just make sure I have everything. Looks like it. So now we're gonna hit weld. And then we can take that weld by clicking it on the right hand side and then hitting the control, which I didn't mention that, but earlier when I was clicking through all of the black images that are on the lampshade, I was holding the control button to make sure they all stayed highlighted. So now we're going to highlight the lampshade itself. and then we're gonna hit the slice button. And now you'll see over here on the right hand side, you have your slice results. You're gonna wanna just hit these eyes right here to hide them from your project because you're not gonna need them anymore. And now you have your lampshade. We're not gonna use this slice, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I'm also going to hide this here because we're not gonna wanna make that. And then we're going to go ahead and click the Make It button up here in the right hand side. As you can see here, you're going to need a larger mat, so the 12 by 24, because this is going to come all the way down to the 12 mark on your mat. So go ahead and click that OK, and we don't need to flip it or mirror it or anything like that. So now we hit the Continue button, and I'm using non-Cricut heat transfer vinyl, so I'm going to click on that button. If you don't have that listed, or whatever material you're using isn't listed, you can do browse all materials and type in the search box what you are using. Now you just need to go over to your Cricut and load your material and hit the cut button. All right, hopefully you can see on the video here that I have my finished cut out design, and now we just need to cut away along these scored lines the outside of the lampshade, and then we can start weeding the interior. I'm going to go ahead and use a smaller pair of scissors versus like some of the normal kitchen ones that you typically find, simply because it'll be easier to cut out around the edge of this project. And I'm going to cut a little bit further out from the scored line first to just make this easier to work with instead of having to fumble with this big sheet of vinyl. So let's go ahead and do that first. All right, now we can go ahead and peel out this outer edge so that we can see the line in which we do want to cut away. So now you can see that it's a lot easier to follow that line, and you're just going to trim away this extra clear portion. And there you have it. We've taken off the outer clear plastic, and we are ready to start weeding this design. This design is going to be fairly simple because it is kind of like a stencil. It doesn't have a lot of detail, and it won't be too hard to figure out what is to go and what is to stay. I'm going to go ahead and start with this dove here, and I'm going to use my little tool I have. And because I'm not keeping the dove, I don't really care if I scratch the vinyl of it. You just don't want to scratch the plastic underneath, and you just simply start pulling away each of these items that are going to come off. Ta-da! All the weeding is finished, and doesn't it look great, guys? I am loving it. The one thing we need to do before we try to assemble our lamp is kind of push right here where the slits are to open it up so that we can fit the tabs through. It just takes a little second to, like, I don't know if you guys can hear it on there, but there you go. You hear it? And that just makes it so that the slit is open and that the tab can fit through. Now that you have the slits open, we're going to go ahead and insert them on the top. Right, just like that. Slide them right on in. Whoops. I guess I didn't get that one very well. Alright, let's try that again. Oops. Alright, there we go. Now those are secure, and we can go ahead and grab our clean peanut butter jar. And all you have to do is you gotta push one side in a little bit so that it will fit. Uh-oh. See, that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes the tabs do come out, so just make sure that it is together before you put it inside of your peanut butter jar. So let's try that again. And let's see, it looks like that bottom one came out again, so we're gonna have to try that again. I think what happened is when I was opening up the slit, I made the opening a little bit too large because I did break the plastic a little bit. So to avoid that, you could use an X-Acto knife to just open that slit up so that you don't have the same problem I am having. But we're gonna give this a try again. And honestly, something that you could do so that the slits, or I should say the tabs, don't come out of the slits is you could put a little piece of tape right there on the inside. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, now you can see I have taped the tabs secure in the inside of the lampshade, and now we just need to grab our peanut butter jar. And here's something you need to remember. You're going to put the design in upside down, and you'll see why in just one moment. You want to fold it just slightly so that it'll fit inside of there, and then it will just sit right on inside your peanut butter jar. I did not do a very good job getting rid of the sticky. If you have it at home, use some Goo Gone. Otherwise, you're going to want to use some hot water before you start assembling your lantern. Now we have our LED rotating base that I got from Amazon, and all you have to do, guys, super simple. So easy. You just have to pop it on there. The jar to this fits perfectly on this base, and all you have to do now is, if you want to, you can add some ribbon, which I am going to do because I don't know about your peanut butter jar, but my peanut butter jar has this date here, and I don't want that to be showing, so I'm going to make sure the bow covers that up. I just have some 1.5 inch ribbon here that does have the wire on either end, so it's going to make it easier to make a pretty bow. And there we have it. The expiration, I guess you would call it, is no longer showing, and I think it's time to turn this beautiful homemade rotating lamp on to show you what it looks like. Alright, that concludes this tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you do end up making this project, I would love to see it. So please message me on Instagram, which is @LifeJoyfullyDone, and share it with me. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!